Welcome everyone to Real Estate with Gwen Price. And this is a series. I'm talking to some experts involved in the real estate industry. And one of my guests today is John Preston, and he's an inspector, home inspector with Insight Property Solutions. Hi, John.
Hi, how are you, Gwen?
I'm doing okay. And I mean, there's a lot of craziness. We've been going through a year with COVID, and that certainly affected my job, and it's affected yours too. And the market's been a wild ride for the last year or so, and certainly it's affected what's been happening with buyers and how they're going about buying houses. Tell us a little bit about yourself, John. How long you've been doing home inspections?
I've been doing home inspections for 7 years and enjoying every bit of it. I love helping people with that decision of buying a house and finding issues with houses that and not all issues are major issues. I just love what I do.
Yeah. What did you do before you got into home inspections?
I was a plumbing building inspector for the city of Toronto and also the city of Sudbury. I done that for 13, 14 years. And so decided to, before that, I was a plumber and electrician by trade.
So you've got some credentials also. You're part of an association, aren't you?
Yeah.
Inspectors.
We're part of one of the best associations in Ontario. It's called the Ontario Association of Home Inspectors, and our standard of practice is one of the highest standards of practice that is known to be in Ontario.
Because your industry, ours is regulated. I mean, we're constantly under a lot of different regulations, but your industry is still not regulated, is it? Anybody can still be a home inspector.
That's right. Anybody can be a home inspector, but belonging to the Ontario Association of Home Inspectors, you're still regulated through the association. So when something happens, you're notified and you're reprimanded, and they look after it. And then if something, they look into it to see the seriousness of it, and then they deal with it at the upper management level to see whether the suspend or more training needs to be done. Further mentoring needs to be completed to make sure that inspector does a very good job.
So that's why it's important to look for that designation that you are part of that association.
Exactly. And we also have to have a certification through the colleges to belong to the to do actions with the association.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
It's not mandatory yet, but that's what they want.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's important to have some continuity through the industry, and right now, like I say, anybody can decide to be one, but that's why it's important to know somebody's credentials, because
absolutely,
you're spending some money on a home inspection. And when you do a home inspection, typically how long would it take for the general sort of home inspection?
It depends on the size of the house. And it depends on the issues that you find in a house, whether it's new or old. There's still some issues. It just depends on what the seriousness of the issues are. It can take anywhere between 2.5 to 3 hours to conduct a proper home inspection. If it takes less time than 2.5 to 3 hours on a regular size 1,400 square foot house, then something needs to be looked into. Or maybe there was just nothing wrong with the house, maybe it was a new house.
Yeah. Well, and certainly when sometimes it can take longer too, depending on the clients and their
absolutely
questions,
absolutely.
And it is good if a client can be with you, which was kind of difficult during the COVID process, wasn't it?
It is very, and I try to do what we're doing right now, Zoom and FaceTime. I try to do that with my clients. And right after the inspection, if they're not there, I get on the phone with my clients and explain everything fully and be open with them, with the clients.
because we're a lot of clients too, during all these different lockdowns are forced to stay where they live, and you know, they might be in Toronto or even out west or something, and they're buying virtually. They're buying a house sometimes based on a virtual tour. And then if they need a home inspection, that's actually, you know, they're not present for it sometimes. And it's just the way things had to be for some people.
That's right. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Noticed that quite a bit.
Yeah. And I mean, your report that you give at the end of the day is pretty thorough. It goes through all the different components of a house, exterior, interior, and all the mechanics of a house. And
It's very thorough, and I put a lot more pictures into it, and also I put a lot more detail in it when the people can't be there, to that the layman person can understand what's what the issues are, whether they're, you know, they're minor, they're major. But I also put illustrations in my inspection reports to tell people, you know, this is what needs to be done, but how you do it, this is how simple it is to do. But the nice thing with our reports is there's a maintenance manual at the end of the report, and it's about 473 pages, and it's color coded for each section, and you can go on to each section in the color coding, and it'll help explain what's going on with the house, and help if you want to fix the issue, you can help fix the issue. Also, now we have a program on the reports now called Ballpark Figures. It's based out of figures out of Toronto, but at least it gives you an idea that if you got a crack in a foundation, this is what the price is going to be. And it's pretty close. But with COVID, the prices are so up and down.
Yeah. Tell me about it. Lumber, preserved lumber. Oh my God, last year I couldn't believe what it cost to build our shed.
You're almost better off to go cedar.
Oh, well, it was getting to that point. Yeah. And I know a lot of times people think a house either passes or fail. That is not what it is. It's your opinion of what you see, and it's up to the individual. And every individual is different, right? What somebody,
absolutely,
what they can accept. I mean, I've got a pretty high threshold for what I can accept, because over the years we've done lots of renovations. But for some people, you know, even minor things can throw them off. But it's not a pass fail.
Absolutely. Now I have my wife working with me, and she does a lot of answering the phones, and she tells the clients to be, you know, when you go to do the inspection, when you go with John to do inspections, or you read the report, be open-minded.
Yeah.
Reading that report, and you know, a lot of these issues aren't major. There are a lot of minor issues that, you know, that can be fixed. You know, they should be fixed right now. You know, they're not major. Like, for example, grading an issue, or downspouts are an issue. That can be a major issue if you don't fix it up.
Yeah.
And it's very simple to fix.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the thing sometimes with the inexperienced buyers, right? I mean, and we're in a crazy market, as most people know, right across Canada, right across the States. It's a very severe, not weighted in the buyer's favor, it's weighted in the seller's favor. Excuse me. And people have been having to buy unconditionally, which means no financing condition, no inspection condition, which is pretty tough. But that, because of the lack of listings, and in order to be able to get your offer accepted, sometimes that's what you have to do. And so that's affected a lot of things. And we had talked to, I mean, some people are doing, some homeowners have decided to do pre-inspections. And what would a home, before they list their property, what would that entail? It's the same thing as doing a full-blown home inspection, except they're doing it before they list the property.
When I do a pre-inspection for a seller, our inspections are transferable. We have service warranties, so our service warranties are transferable. When we do it, I like to get into a lot more detail because that report now can be given to the realtor, and they can get, and the homeowner can give it out to anybody they want to help buy the house.
Yeah. I've seen it a couple of times, not that much, but it certainly is something that can be discussed, with people before they do list their house.
Absolutely. It's very popular down south now.
Yeah.
Sellers are starting to do it now so that they can limit the liability on themselves and the realtor.
Mhm. I think a lot of people, and it's typically, I find it's people that look after their house. It's immaculate. They seem to be the ones that, think there's going to be issues, which typically, if you're looking after your house, as small things come up, instead of, like a $500 or $100 item, it becomes a $5,000 item because you didn't look after it in the beginning. So, sometimes when you walk in a house, you see the condition and it's in good condition. Those are probably the same people that would look after minor issues before they become major issues.
Absolutely. I agree 100% there.
Yeah. So one of the other things, because people have gone unconditional on home inspections, there is such a thing as a post inspection.
That's
And
right.
can you tell me a bit about that? Same thing, it's after somebody's bought?
Well, the post inspection, we used to call them maintenance inspections, but right now we call them post inspections. And I treat the post inspection just like I treat the home inspection. But I just go, I treat it, it's also treated like the selling inspection. I go into detail so that everybody understands.
Mhm.
Basically, we talk about everything from grading outside to right up to the attic, all the electrical, all the plumbing, the roofing condition, when it should be replaced, what maintenance should be done on the plumbing, electrical, and heating. We check to make sure there's no, like in the heating system, we check to make sure there's no leaks in the condensation portion of the heating system. Just like boilers, we open up covers in that and boilers, and we check to make sure that the boilers don't have any leaks. If we notice that there's no servicing done, we try to stay right on top of that and recommend servicing too.
Mhm.
Electrical, we open up the panel covers, we check the electrical, we tell you whether it's copper or aluminum, and we look for corroding. We look for what we call double tapping, where the breaker's got 2 or 3 wires underneath one screw under the breaker, because that can just overload the system, and the breaker may not trip like a fuse. A fuse will trip instantaneously,
Mhm.
but a breaker has a time delay built in it that it still can cause a fire. So with 2 or 3 wires underneath one screw, it's overloaded. So it's like,
Yeah, sorry, just because you mentioned fuses, and almost every time I show a house that has fuses, somebody will say, "Oh no," and they're like, "Oh my God," it's like they're worried about fuses, but fuses are still safe to use. It's when people use the wrong fuse, or what's the issue about fuses?
fuses, being a tradesperson, electrician, I find fuses are a lot safer because they trip easier. You put a whole bunch of plugs into a plug-in bar.
Mhm.
It may have 10 or 12 outlets in it, and you plug them all in, and it's only a 15 amp circuit.
Right.
If it's overloaded, it will pop right away.
Mhm.
If it's a breaker, it has a built-in time delay. So it
Okay.
still has that little bit of time delay. But what you can do with a fuse is you can take that 15 amp out and put a bigger one in, maybe a 20, maybe a 30. Now that 15 amp wire that's on that circuit is now overloaded, and that's what causes the fire. And
Yeah.
that's why the insurance companies want them, because that fuse can be taken out and put in a bigger fuse.
Yeah, which is the wrong thing to do. Like, are
Yes,
there
right.
there new styles of fuses that are like little
There is a
breakers?
new style. There is a new style of fuse. You can pull the 15 amp out, put another 15 amp in, and it has a reset push button on the front of the fuse.
Okay,
It's
okay.
it's sort of like a breaker,
Mm,
a breaker basically.
okay,
Push the
yeah,
button and reset it.
yeah. Is that definitely is like one of the first things, as soon as they see the box and it's got fuses, they're worried about it, and, you
Yeah.
know,
Well,
but,
a lot of insurance companies are scaring people, you
well,
know.
I know they don't like it. Insurance companies have a list of things, of course, and it's because people have done the wrong thing, right? And it's become a fire hazard, the same as the
Uh,
fire department would have issues with a lot of people too, because, people try to do more than they should be doing on the whole system, right? And there's a reason why those breakers and the fuses are there.
that's right.
Yeah. But when you think about a homeowner living in their house, they bought their house and they go along to over the years, what is probably the number one thing? Is there something like you think of that, a homeowner should be doing every year? They should be doing, like, looking after their grading, or what is it? Is there something that stands out more than others for a maintenance issue?
Um, you should be checking your caulking around the windows and making sure that there's no cracks in the caulking and stuff like that where water can get in. If you have brick, you should be checking to make sure that the mortar's not hasn't shrunk around the stone windowsill or the brick windowsill,
Mhm.
and just recaulk it with caulking. Just to make sure that water or condensation doesn't get into the building envelope, which is the structure of the house.
So
And
mostly it's like the exterior is to try to protect water from coming,
absolutely,
prevent water
grading.
from coming
Yeah,
into the house.
absolutely. Grading is another issue. Downspouts are another big issue.
Hmm. Well, because even in new subdivisions around now, they have a drainage, yeah, what do they got? Yeah, drainage plan, is that what it's called? Yeah, anyway, to make sure that you're not affecting your neighbor too. You can regrade
Absolutely.
a grading plan, yeah, that you're not regrading your lot that affects your ownership, but it also might affect your neighbor's ownership of their
That's
house,
right.
right?
That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
But that's
so
also with the older houses too. They've
yeah,
had them on the older subdivisions for a long, long time.
oh yeah.
People never paid attention to them.
No, I never heard about it until I was involved with new construction. I'd never heard
Yeah.
about grading, but it makes sense, right? And the whole idea is to prevent water from infiltrating the house and the fountain,
Yeah.
causing issues.
That's right.
So, yeah, no, that's good, John. Like, I mean, it's an important thing to do, but like I say, this market has been crazy, and some people have had to go unconditional in order to secure a house, and so everybody's got to be cautious with that. But
We just talked about it.
yeah, so I mean, I'll put all your information on. The best number to reach you at, John, is
Pardon me.
your best number to reach you at.
Uh, the best number to reach us at is 705 919 1555. My wife, she looks after the office and all the administration portion of it. 705 923 7145.
Okay, and I'll put all that contact information on this too. And it was very helpful and good to know, because I mean, these are challenging times for all of us, and buying a house right now is certainly challenging for a lot of people. So really appreciate your knowledge and expertise. That's for sure.
And we're always there. We're always there for our clients or anybody that wants just to phone us and ask us questions.
Hmm.
Like questions before they
Yeah,
buy a house or a house that they're looking at.
yeah,
They have some questions, and we may be, without even seeing it, we may be able to answer right over the phone. That
yeah.
it's
That's good.
not major. Take a look at it, and if you want
Yeah,
us look at it further, we can come over and take a look at it further and do some consulting. We also do consulting too.
yeah. And part of your company, are you still doing property management in some companies, or?
No, we've separated that company, and it's a property service company now, and it's called Acme
Okay,
Property Services,
okay, good to know.
and
Well,
it's
thank
ran
you.
by my son Paul.
Okay, well, we'll put that contact information too for Paul. And it was great chatting with you on a Friday afternoon. And we're in cold weather again today.
I know, eh?
We got spoiled too early, but
I think so.
it's not going to stay, I don't think, anyway. So we're
No,
good.
this
We're
is
finally out of the snow and the ice and everything.
no, this is what we got to come to now. This
Yeah.
hot weather's coming now.
Yeah. Well, thanks again, John, and take care, and we'll be in touch.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.